everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here tonight to do a review of Queen Khia's Gag Order Live, Docket 040218. So if I'm looking 10 shades darker than I normally am, it is because I just spent a very exhausting week in Miami, Florida, doing what I love the most in this world, and that is watching professional tennis. And so the sun got me and my daughter, like we both look like cooked gooses right now, sunburned all on our shoulders and our back, but we made it and we had a great time. And today is her 25th birthday, and so I just give all honor to God, blessings flowing that my baby made it thus far. So let's go ahead and get into this review. So you guys know that Queen Khia was taking the show live at the Blue Ivory, I believe it's a restaurant and club in Atlanta, Georgia. And tonight was the first night that she was going to be live. And the show was supposed to start at 8 o'clock, but it did not start until, I don't even know what time it is right now, but I want to say the show didn't start until well after 9 p.m. And don't quote me on this, but from what I could tell, Michelle Brown was doing a live feed of the show, and then there was another YouTuber, I think her name is Jasmine Dunn. She was also doing a live YouTube video, and from what I can gather just from the chatter in the background is that they were having technical difficulties getting the Ustream. I think she was going to do a Ustream or live stream from her website, KhiaThugMrs.com, I think is the name of the website. But they were having technical difficulties and they couldn't get, the live feed up and running. And so finally, Khia just came out and said, you know what, let's just go ahead and go live, forget about the camera and all of that. I mean, they did have all the equipment there. They had a backdrop. They had a stage set up. So everything that she said she was going to do, she did do, but it just appeared that there were technical difficulties that didn't allow them to go live using the equipment that they had. So they did end up using, like I said, Michelle live streamed, and then there was a guy with Khia who was doing the live stream from her Facebook page. He didn't know what he was doing. The lighting was terrible. It was very dark, and then he was walking all around the room, and I'm not sure if it was the same guy who kept walking in front of Michelle's camera, and he kept going up because Khia was sitting, I guess it would be like maybe where people come in and you pay to get in, because it was like a tall desk and she was sitting behind that desk instead of the backdrop that they had, the stage they had created for the show. But whoever it was that was handling the Khia Shimon Facebook page feed was doing a horrible job, but it was not whoever was supposed to have been doing the live stream, it was not them and their camera. And I actually think that that person was actually recording the show. It just wasn't in the format that they had anticipated, and that is probably what you're going to see posted to the Khia Motormouth TV page when it actually goes up. Before Khia started with the roast and gag, she gave a disclaimer and let people know that who were in there recording that if you posted the footage on YouTube, that it would, she was going to have a copyright claim filed against it to have it taken down. She said that she's working with her attorneys for all these pages that have her content up, from the previous shows. If you're using her music, if you're using images of hers without permission, if you are any type of copyright infringement, she is coming for you. So please knock it off. And that she's tired of people, profiting from her creative arts, her intellectual property, and she's had enough of it. And so she's now going to start doing something about it. So this should be interesting. And it brought to mind that there was a girl on Facebook who did a post yesterday or Saturday where she said that Khia was, they were doing like copyrights against a lot of the Queen's Court videos, and I couldn't figure out why she was doing that. And somebody came in and said that it was because of the Next Caller song was being played, and then people were saying, yeah, but she was part of the Queen's Court, so why wouldn't they be able to, you know, I don't know what was going on with that. But anyways, people came up later and said that the videos had been put back out there on social media. So I don't know what that was all about. But I do know that Khia reposted the Next Caller song the other day, and she has removed that part in the song where Maddy is talking and she's saying, you know, is this thing on? Are we live? Are you live? Or all of that has been removed from the Next Caller song, and she reposted the video on YouTube. So I don't know if things is getting ugly, if things is clearing out, like what is going on. But as I always say, there is enough room for everybody, that we don't have to be mean-spirited to one another. We don't have to be hateful. We don't need to be flagging people, getting people pages shut down, and all that other nonsense. Oh, and also part of the delay was right before Khia was getting ready to start streaming, they came in and said that everybody that was in the room had to clear out of the room and go into this other part of the restaurant, because they didn't do a security check when they let the people in. And so everybody had to get up and go out, and then, you know, come back in, and they scanned them for weapons or whatever they were looking for. And so then the people came back in. So Khia looked very beautiful. She had on a white sheer dress, looked like with a bikini or something up under it. It kind of reminded me of that black outfit that Toya had on at the Married to Medicine reunion. But Khia's on was white, and she looked very nice. The club, she had did a live feed. If you're not familiar with the club, like everything is white. It has like white sofas all over the place, and it reminds me of a place that we have here in St. Pete called the Black Room. And with the Black Room, everything is painted black, and then the furniture is all white. And all over, there's no tables or anything. It's all sofas and little chairs with little round tables and everything. And that's kind of what the Blue Ivory reminded me of. There wasn't a lot of people there, and I was kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe that people didn't come out to support Khia. But what we found out, and once again, don't hold me to this because this was just chatter that I was hearing on the live feed that the YouTubers were doing. And basically they were saying, I guess it was like $100 for general admission. It was $250 to be on the jury, and it was $1,000 for VIP. And so I would estimate that there probably was about 30 or 40 people there that I could see, you know, as they were scanning around the room. And then I guess there was a separate room where there were other people. There were people at the place, and they were in another room, but you had to pay in order to get into the space that Khia was in during the show. So I know a lot of the Maddy Mob, you know, they were trying to, which I don't understand. Like, if you don't like somebody, you hate somebody, why are you taking time out of your life to just be mean-spirited and follow them and watch just so you can have something negative to say? Because they were all on Michelle Brown's video feed, you know, making little nasty comments, being negative, talking down about, you know, what Khia was doing. And I'm just like, I'm not taking time out of my life to be following somebody that is not interesting to me, or that I'm not benefiting from getting any enjoyment or anything. So I don't understand that whole mind frame of I'm going to take an hour or 2 hours out of my life just to go be mean to somebody else. But that's what they do, I guess. And I'm thinking that the reason Khia charged so much for the event is because she didn't want a lot of people to come in there, and she wanted it to be people who supported her. Like, if it was $5 or $10 to get in, then I think you would have had a lot of the Maddy Mob haters coming in there, probably heckling and just being rude and disruptive to the show. So I don't have a problem with the fact that she charged that much, especially when people were willing to pay that much. I'm like, make your coins, get what you're worth. And so I didn't have a problem with that at all. And then the thing with the jury, I didn't like the setup of the jury because Khia was talking and then she would like roast whoever was on the docket. And then the jury was just yelling out and talking. And I was just like, oh my God, this is too much. So I don't know if she's going to be open to feedback, but if she is, I got some feedback for her. And basically that feedback is you got to come up, like I like the idea of having a jury, but I wish they could do something where they could like pass the mic and then each one of the jurors, if they want, you know, they can give their verdict on the case, and then if they have a comment to make, they can make their comment as to why they chose that verdict, and then just pass it around instead of just everybody yelling out. And then it was funny when she had this lady, I called her the church lady because she was like an old lady that was dressed up in a church outfit. And she was like a witness, and so she came up, you know, to give the tea that she heard on one of the cases. And so the cases were, let's see, I think they started out with Fabulous and Emily. And people were kind of upset because I think when it was all said and done, oh, that's what the church lady came up. She came to tell what really happened. And she said that Emily had given her father access to some money that Fabulous had, and the dad took the money or something, and that's what the whole fight was about. But then they kept saying that he beat Emily up. But I thought on TMZ today that they discovered a video, and the video clearly showed that Fabulous never touched Emily. So I don't know if Khia didn't get that news, but they kind of turned it where it was supposed to be was Fabulous guilty, but then they turned around and said that Emily was guilty of causing the whole situation, and that, you know, she should be ashamed of herself. They talked about Vivica Fox, and oh my God, Khia roasted Vivica Fox. I kind of like felt sorry for Vivica. And who else did they talk? Oh, they talked about Bow Wow. Y'all know I'm horrible. Black China. Basically, all the stories that, you know, you see featured on TMZ and that's been in the blogs for the past week were basically the stories that she covered. And then they closed it out where she talked about Tiffany, New York. I Love New York Tiffany, that was on Maddy's show, the Supreme Queen's Court, or the Queen's Supreme Court, whatever the show is. So she drugged Tiffany for filth, and I mean, it was funny. I kind of felt bad. I was like, oh damn, I feel like I need to stop watching the video because I should be laughing at this, but it was funny. So as far as the roast and gagging part, it was pure Khia. It was just, you know, the same thing that she does. Like I said, I didn't like the whole, how the juror thing was set up. I like the idea of the jurors. I just didn't like how it played out. People were talking about, you know, it wasn't that many people there. But like I said, what they were saying about the pricing, that would explain why it wasn't that many people there. And, you know, basically it's starting late. Oh, this is what I did want to add about Khia's Facebook page, because she started out with, I think it was close to 2,000 people were watching on the Facebook page, but then people started tuning out. One, because the guy who was recording it was doing a horrible job, and two, I think the fact that she doesn't allow people to comment on her Facebook page, on her Facebook live posts, I think that takes a lot of energy away from the show, because people want to be able to comment, because like over on the Michelle Brown's page, there was like almost 1,500 people watching, and, you know, people were commenting through the whole thing. And I just think that the ability to comment adds a lot to the show. And so she may want to consider allowing people to comment. Now, on her website where the show was actually supposed to live stream, they did have a Facebook plug-in where you could comment, but that show never, you know, the live never happened because they were having technical difficulties. So maybe next week it'll be much better. I know it's something else that I wanted to say about the show. Oh, at the end of the show, they tried to put Shekinah on the docket, and Khia said no, she wasn't putting Shekinah on the Shakina or Shekinah. She wasn't putting her on the docket because Shakina hadn't learned her lesson. She got up, she back walked out of the basement. So that was punishment enough. She wasn't putting her back on the docket. And so right now they're doing like an after show, and Khia is supposed to be performing. So when I get off here, I'll go see if that live stream is up. Oh, and then there were a couple of celebrities in the audience, and I know one of them was Miss Deb from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I know she was there, and I can't remember who else I saw in there, but I think that if it wasn't for the technical difficulties that they experienced, that it would have been a really good show. Khia was Khia, you know, she was roasting and gagging. It was funny as crap, but once they work the kinks out, I think it's going to be a very good show. But tonight it was just hindered, you know, by technical difficulties. So that's it for me, guys. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Did you watch the show? Did you get tired of waiting because it was supposed to come on at 8 o'clock and didn't start till almost 10 o'clock? Did that deter you from watching? You know, are you going to tune in next week to see if it gets better? Leave those comments below, rate the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.